Okay, so I'm going to start with a line that I read in my Buddhist text. The first thing that I read in my Buddhist text that says, every single person on this planet, irrespective of their caste, color, creed, religion, gender, irrespective of the circumstances they are born into, irrespective of their nationality, irrespective of the profession they choose, irrespective of whether they are clear of what they want to do or not clear of what they want to do, every single person on this planet has infinite potential. And every single person is writing a story, a beautiful, grand drama. Now, the reason we share our stories, I believe, is so that other people can write better dramas. So I'll be sharing about my journey, my story, and I have divided my story. I will share about 6 points that I learned during my journey up till now. Of course, the journey continues. Hi, my name is Jassi. I'm a radio presenter and I get paid for this voice of mine. I do voiceovers, I do dubbing. In my free time, I climb mountains also. I'm a basic level mountaineer and I'm also a certified yoga teacher. So my journey started way back in 2010, actually long before that. And the first point that I want to share in this talk and that I learned in this journey is nothing about you is wrong, nothing about you needs fixing, and nothing about you is unpleasant. And the way I realized this point is I grew up in a city called Ludhiana, and my mother is an Afghani refugee. My father is an Indian Punjabi, and I was raised in a very nice, happy Punjabi family environment. Indians know that, what that means. And while I was growing up, I was this underconfident, very, very conscious, not aware of what life will bring in, no purpose kind of a person. And I grew up hating my voice. Back then, all the beautiful voices, in the music industry were very sweet, melodious. No Adele, no Sona Mohapatras of the world. So as a result, boys in my school used to mock my voice and they used to say I have a man's voice. So I grew up hating my voice. So very naturally, I never knew that I'd end up in the voice industry. That was something I wanted to change about myself. And that is why I'm saying the first thing I want to convey today through my journey and this story and through this talk is nothing about you is wrong. Even things that you think need fixing can turn out to be your biggest asset. I did my bachelor's in journalism from Delhi University. We had to shift from Punjab to Delhi because of huge financial crisis. I won't get into the details, but what I can tell you is wear your challenges as your badges of honor. There were days where meals were difficult. There were days where we had huge amount of people we had to pay back to. But the point that I learned during the financial challenging times was that your challenges are your badges of honor. And the only people who will move forward is who use challenges as opportunities and polish themselves through the challenges. Cut to Delhi, I moved to Delhi University, finished my graduation. I did my bachelor's in journalism, did theater for 3 years. I was a street theater, Nukkad Natak artist. And after my graduation, I was clueless about what to do. I took commerce in school, landed in journalism absolutely by chance. And that's when I realized the most important lesson. I landed up at a radio station as an intern, and I hated my voice. So I thought I'm going to get done with this internship and move on with my life. But the moment I landed up at this radio station, my life started changing. Because for the first time in my life, people started praising my voice. The same voice I grew up hating, the same voice I used to cry about and pray that, this should somehow become sweeter and I should sound more like a woman. That voice was now being praised by people around me. Today, I complete almost 8.5, 9 years in the voice industry, and my voice has become my biggest asset. So that's the first point I want to convey. Things that you don't like can also become your bread and butter. So there's nothing that you shouldn't like about yourself. Everything about you is special. Today, I do ads, sometimes for 5 seconds and 10 seconds. Things like 80-10, 10-10-10. Things like this path fitting is brought to you by, and I get paid huge amount of money for doing these television ads, internet ads, and of course, doing my own radio show. So yeah, that's the first point. I also want to convey something that my favorite author said, that there are two types of people. And for many, many years, I kept looking for my mission, purpose, And I think society does great disservice by telling people, find your mission, find your mission, find your passion, find your passion. Because there are people like me who don't know what their passion is. There are people like me who don't know what their mission is. And that's when I encountered this beautiful, beautiful author who said that there are people who are jackhammers, and then there are people who are hummingbirds. Jackhammers, my friends, are people that we all know. You know, friends who wanted to become singers when they were 4. They wanted to do music when they were 5. They wanted to do music when they were in school, when they were in college, and they're doing music. Friends who wanted to become writers in class 10. They wanted to pursue writing when they were in college, and then they can write on for the rest of their life. They are jackhammers, and I love them. I love jackhammers. But then there is a second category of people that she referred to as hummingbirds. And when I heard her for the first time in my life, I felt very, very happy. I felt at peace because I realized I am a hummingbird. I do not have that one thing I'm going to dedicate my entire life to. I was just going with the flow, you know, shifted from commerce to journalism, and here I was at a radio station, so I definitely am a hummingbird. But what she really focused on is that the world is in need of both jackhammers and hummingbirds. So every time we put pressure on people to find their purpose, and they're unable to find that one thing they're going to devote their lives to, it's a great disservice we are doing to people. What we need to tell them is, you could be a hummingbird. Why don't you do your best where you are? And that's exactly what I started doing. I started accepting that I need to do best where I am, and the next path will open up. The path kept opening up, and this hummingbird survived in the voice industry for almost 9 years, and I'm sure it's going to stay for many, many more years to come. So that's the first thing I want to convey, that it's okay to not know what you want to do, because there are people who know what they're born for. And then there are other people who will be led. So I fall in the second category. And if you're absolutely confident that your mission will find you, your mission will find you. So one thing is that I want to find my purpose. And then there is another category of people like me, wherein your purpose finds you. I never knew my purpose is to use my voice to bring about change, to bring about joy, to make people happy. But that's how, you know, life turned out to be. So that's my first point that I want to cover. The second thing what I want to share is what happened after I entered radio. So now I am a radio presenter in the capital city of India, New Delhi. What next? There are so many radio presenters. And what I instantly realized after entering the medium is everybody has different reasons to work. I had a lot of colleagues whose motivation and their only motivation was fame. You want to become a radio jockey because it's cool, it's swanky, you're going to get Facebook followers, Instagram followers. So many, many people around me within the radio industry wanted that fame. They wanted the world should know them. That wasn't my reason. I anyways never knew why I was there. So the second point that I realized during my journey is why we work. What is the purpose of work? And the answer to this came from my Buddhist practice, wherein I realized that every single person on this planet, whether you are running a grocery store, or you're working at the bank, or you're an actor, or you're a radio presenter, needs to find that one word, why am I working? And I found this answer in a line which said, voice does the Buddha's work. This is one of my favorite lines, and I've literally based my career upon this line. Voice does the Buddha's work. So I would get up in the morning and chant, how can my voice do Buddha's work? There were times I got really upset because I would feel, oh, it's so frivolous. Everyone's just talking about who's getting married to whom, what's this actor doing, that actor doing. But at the same time, radio is so amazing. We do powerful campaigns. When I make a blood donation request, somebody gets blood and a life is saved. When we do organ donation campaigns, there is so much impact. There is change. It's such a beautiful, powerful medium. And that's when I realized that you can use the medium the way you want to. So the second thing that I want to share today with all of you is, whatever the nature of your work may be, it needs to create value. Whatever work you do, please remember your work is to create value through your work. So if you are a doctor, then can you be the doctor who smiles the most? If you are a hairdresser, then can you become the warmest hairdresser on the planet? If you are a camera person, because I can see some here, then can you become that one camera person, who ensures that he makes the best, brightest, happiest videos. If you are a baker, then can you put all your heart and soul in baking so that when people eat that one piece of cake, they feel happiest? Another thing that I realized, which of course is related to my career, is that I was never interested in reaching out to millions of people. That was never my focus. I was never driven by the fact that I want everyone to listen to me. I would only go to work with one clarity. I need to make someone happy today. Even if I can make one person happy, my job is done. And I really think that kind of clarity, when you are very clear that you want to create value through radio. So today, if you ask me, what is it that you work for, Jassi? Of course, everybody needs salary. Of course, I need to feel good when I speak on the radio. But I can confidently tell you, I work so that I can use my voice to make people happy. That's my only reason to work. Salary is a byproduct, very, very important byproduct. But what happens when you attach value creation to your career, whatever the line of your work may be, is fame follows, is money follows. My salary kept on increasing. New radio stations kept on inviting me, giving me bigger offers, more money. And people kept on, liking my Facebook page. So all of that follows. So the second realization that I had in my journey, the first I'd like to repeat, is that if you don't know what you're here for, that's okay, because your purpose will find you. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. What's not okay is to not give your best where you are. So if you don't know what you want to do, then give your best where you are, and the next path will open up. The second thing that I want to share that I realized during this radio journey is you have to be very clear what you're working for. And I solely believe that people who work to create value will always find a way forward. So I ended up doing a lot of good campaigns on radio. It's a beautiful medium. I love radio. I love the way, so many people call me. Some of them think I'm a 40-year-old woman, and then they look at me, they're shocked. Some of them ask me if I can date them, marry them. All of that happens. Yes, that happens. But what I realized, during this journey of my radio is that value creation is the most important thing. The third thing that I want to share, which really helped me, is experimenting and rewiring your brain. So what is this experimenting and rewiring your brain? So when I was at the peak of my career, I was working with a very, very big radio brand in Delhi. And they had just launched another radio station, and I was given the morning slot. And in my industry, the morning slot is considered to be huge. I decided to quit it because I realized that I am an experience seeker, and life must have experiences. So I didn't want to become a person who gets up in the morning and goes to the radio station and comes back in the evening, because I believe essentially RJs are storytellers. So then I quit the job. I went to Manali. I did my basic mountaineering course. I stayed with 90 odd people in a mountaineering institute for a month. And the rest of the months I was doing a lot of trekking. And that was a time when everybody told me, you're taking a wrong decision. Nobody leaves a morning show. You have EMIs, you have financial liabilities, you won't be able to manage. But herein, I rewired my brain. And that's what I'm coming to. I decided not to listen to anybody else, but only tell myself the story that I wanted to tell myself. So I went, I had 6 months of so many stories, 6 months full of stories. And since radio jockeys are storytellers, when I came back, I had job offers. I had so many job offers. I had opportunities to come back to radio, and I could share my stories on air. And of course, that included 6 months of training, 6 months of learning how to live with little money, 6 months of learning that it's okay. So how did I rewire my brain? I started writing 2 journals. These 2 journals have literally transformed my life, and I know they can transform anyone's life. The first was a gratitude journal. So what is a gratitude journal? Before I go to bed, every single day I write 20 to 30 things I want to say thank you for. Sometimes it's little things like, thank you that I could afford an Uber. Thank you for tea. Thank you that I met this person. Thank you that I met that person. The challenge is to keep writing new things and not repeat the old thing. But what that does is, gratitude is a frequency shifter. Gratitude is miraculous. The moment I started writing this gratitude journal, within 10, 20, 30 days, random voiceovers started coming in. So if I was like, my bank balance was not there, then suddenly, if I'm writing gratitude, I would get a random call. Will you do this small audio series, and I would have money in my bank account. So those were the days when I was off radio. So the reason I'm sharing these 2 points with you is because we all say that we are grateful, but we are not actually grateful until we practice it. Everybody says, I'm a very thankful person. मैं हर चीज़ के लिए शुक्राना करता हूँ, करती हूँ. But I realized that without practice, it doesn't work. So that's the first journal I started writing. The second journal that I started writing was a letting go journal. Now, what was this letting go journal? I still write it, and this one I don't write every day, but every second or third day, I write in my diary something that I'm carrying, but I shouldn't be carrying. It can be a bad comment. It can be a negative self-belief. Oh, I'm not pretty. Oh, my voice is a man's voice. Anything that you don't want to keep, but something that's been with you. You write it in that journal and you drop it. You never go back to that. So these are the 2 journals that transformed my life. And if you try them for a few months, I can vouch for it, guarantee that they'll transform your life. Campaigns. I did a lot of meaningful campaigns, and I'm really grateful that radio gave me an opportunity. One of my favorite campaigns was Kaid Mein Azadi, wherein I went to the Kothas of GB Road. It's a red light area, and I worked with these sex workers. My friend runs a school there, and I would go to these Kothas and meet these didis. And on one of the 15th August, I hosted my show from a brothel. And the reason I did this was because I realized that here's a street in Delhi, which we completely ignore. Like rest of Delhi is here and GB Road is here. Nobody talks about it. Nobody knows what happens there. Or maybe they know and they just cross that street and they look up and they laugh. So that's one of the campaigns I did. In another campaigns, we did hashtag not my fault, wherein we got kids who are suffering, who are HIV positive, and these kids who have AIDS, obviously it's not their fault. In this campaign, we collected a lot of money through a small, like Paytm number, and we funded their education. So many such campaigns. I can't list down because there's so many campaigns, but that is what I realized. You need to use whatever work you have to create value. So if you're standing at the gate of the museum, can you become the person who smiles the most, who's the brightest, ushering in person at the museum. So these are the few of learnings I had. But most importantly, I think today I host an evening drive time, and I'm a yoga teacher. Most important thing I realized over the years through my Buddhist practice and otherwise is that the only way to handle fear is faith. And how do you build faith is you rewrite your beliefs. How do you rewrite your beliefs? Well, if somebody tells me you're fat, you're fat, you're fat, I'll grow up believing I'm fat. If somebody tells me you're a loser, you're a loser, you're a loser, I'll grow up believing I'm a loser. So how do you change everything? Everything on the outside. Environment is nothing but a reflection of your own self. You start telling yourself a new story. So I stopped listening to everybody. I stopped listening to my mother who'd say, "Paise khatam ho gaye to, job nahi lagi to." I stopped listening to my colleagues who'd say, "Yeah, but radio is dying medium." I stopped listening to people who'd say, "Itni time tak shaadi ho jani chahiye, you should be married by now." I only started telling myself the story I wanted to listen to, which is I have infinite potential. I am here to use my voice to make a difference. I can hold a lot of money. And we all have a unique path, a unique journey. And lastly, before I close, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to share one last point, which we all do, and which is the worst thing we can do to our own self. Worst thing you can do to your own self is compare yourself to another person. We all do it, do we? We all do it. So how did I learn that we shouldn't compare our journey to anybody else's? And why shouldn't we? There's a line that again appeared in my Buddhist text, thanks to my mentor, which said, peach, plum, and cherry blossom. They're all different. Can a peach become plum? No. Can a cherry become banana? No. But you know what the beauty is? They will all bloom. So the day I realized that everybody will bloom in their own unique way, I never compared my life. I don't know. I don't know last when I thought, oh my God, iski life kitni achhi hai. I don't know when I did that. I never do it because I'm confident that what I'm here for is my mission. What that person is here for is his mission. And there's enough in the universe for all of us. So we're all here to write our own unique stories. So next time when you think, wo kitna aage nikal gaya, main kitna piche reh gaya, please tell yourself, what I can do, nobody else can. What he can do, nobody else can. What she can do, nobody else can. Thank you so much. That was my time.